Our first guest tonight is probably the closest thing we have to a wizard in real life. He is on tour with his band, the Blood Brothers, while he recovers from the Cubs. Please say hello to the winner of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, Mr. Bill Murray.
How are you?
Good. Sorry about the Cubs. Does it feel bad to be in LA, knowing that it could have been that there could have been a game tonight? Yeah, I would have loved to have gone to the game tonight and seen the Cubs. But you still have the Bears. You watch all the Bears games, right? Yeah, I might have Chicago blood running spilling out of my system right now. But yeah, the Cubs were great this year. It was fun, and I would have liked to seen him play the Dodgers. So, that would have been nice. Yeah, actually I saw him play the Dodgers in Tokyo earlier in the year. That's right. You went to that game. What was that like? It was strange. 'Cause of Tokyo Japanese baseball, they were singing songs about their team and everything, but because it was the Dodgers, they had no Dodger song. So it was total silence. It was the weirdest baseball game I've ever been to, strangely. You know that there's no noise. They're not cheering or clapping. They weren't cheering for anyone. And they were very excited about Oten. But they didn't cheer for him. Well, they did cheer for him. Now, but when he's up, it's very, very serious and very silent. And he played well. He did well, but wow, that's very true. And the Dodgers won both games, but Tokyo is a cool place. Is it hard to believe that it has been 40 years since the '85 Bears team, that team that won the Super Bowl, one of the great teams of all time? It is hard. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I think that made my bones stronger.
Did it?
You know, it made me feel better about who I was and how my parents raised me and everything, you know. Speaking of your parents, so when you were a kid, you got 8 brothers and sisters, right? Are you guys going to these Bears games at that time? Was that something that you would do? No, we were listening to them on the radio. We were one of those families that listened on the radio. And back then we would come out of church, and it'd be one of those things like, can we leave? You know, but my father was an usher, so you had to wait until, you couldn't. Not that anyone left church early, but your father put the Lord ahead of the Bears. Yeah, he did.
He's a funny one, that guy.
Funny. Were you in there with that '85 Bears team? Did you know those guys? Yes, I did spend some time with them. And, I have stories I could tell that, but I was the night before the game. I was with, Steve Sickle and Dan Hampton, and just 'cause I felt safe. And, they were completely unafraid of the Patriots, and they were drinking 7-7s next to me at a speed that it was impossible. I stopped counting, day. This was on night before. I don't think alcohol effects affected the '85 Bears. It didn't affect them. But I finally says, I think I better go, fellas. I just didn't want someone to blame me for anything that could go wrong. But they were very confident, but they were funny. God, they were a bunch of funny people. I still see some of them. Kevin Butler was the kicker. And McMahon, I see him sometimes. He does crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So many characters on that team. I wonder if we remember them just because of the song, or because there was so much focus on that team. William the Refrigerator. Perry is, the greatest nickname perhaps of all time. Is that he's somebody that you knew?
Yeah.
Back then, and he's in South Carolina, and he, nowadays he does hot dog eating contests, but a really sweet guy, and famously, he weighed 300 pounds, but he could jump up onto a table.
Yeah.
He had extraordinary skill. He could dunk a basketball, eat hot dogs. He could do the whole thing. Still eating those hot dogs. I don't know about dunking, but they were fun, and that really made the city feel great, and we were still living on that one. Yeah, it's been a long time since that. And now, as far as your family goes, I wonder about having that many kids in the house. First of all, how do you go anywhere? How did you have a school bus you drove around in? How do you put that many family members? We had a station wagon back before we had a station wagon, and I'd had a rear seat, and so we'd stuff them all in there. The middle seat was a kind of a hazardous area that was so if you were strong enough to take a licking you could sit in the middle. The small people were either in the very front or in the very back. That back seat we had that too. Was it where you were facing traffic behind you? Yeah, that kind of stuff. We were doing that too.
Yeah.
We're like 9 years old and like flipping off what's going on back there? You want to cut that out?
Yeah.
How many bathrooms in the house?
2.
2 bathrooms. Yeah.
Wow.
How many bedrooms in the house?
3. Wow.
So, how many kids were in your bedroom? I don't remember. You don't remember? There were. At any time we put an addition on the house eventually that we sort of stretched when we got up to 8 and 9, but before that there was always 3, and 3 and 3.
7 was sort of the basic standard.
There was always an infant in a crib with my parents, and there were 3 or 4 of us in the boys' room, and 3 girls, 3 in the girls' room. We only got to 3 girls. When you got onto Saturday Night Live and became famous and all of that stuff, did your whole family stay up and watch you live on the show? Was it like a family gathering?
Yeah.
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 That's nice, right? And then everyone would call you the next day.
Yeah.
They didn't have, I was unconscious the next day. I'd been up all night. They couldn't reach me for a day or so. But, yeah, everybody knew, and everybody was excited, and everyone was calling them saying, hey, we saw Billy on TV. Would your family come to the show? Would they pester you for tickets and that sort of thing? No, but I only have one good story, which is that, after my father died, my mother had to get a job to sort of make some money to make it happen. And, she worked at a company, and, the chairman of this company, it was a big company called the American Hospital Supply Company in Evanston, Illinois. She worked there, and she pushed the mail around. That's all she did. She was a very sweet person, and the chairman of the company could not get tickets to Saturday Night Live. He really wanted to go, and he could not get tickets, but he found out that Lucille Murray in the mailroom might have a connection. So, I said, how many is it going to have? And she said, and I don't know if she said 4 or 6 or some crazy number. And I said, well, let's wait a couple days, So I came up with the tickets for the show. And my mother was never on time for work again. And she would take lunch hours that did not end, because Billy had a credit card. And then all of a sudden she had one too. So, did you give your mom a credit card? Yeah, it's the first year, I think she spent $1,200 of a whole year, and then she realized that there was, no fraud or anything, and it just went geometrically from that point on. Would you go through it and see what she had been buying or no? No. It's just like, what's the number? What's the number this year? Basically she was taking all of her friends out for lunch every day. And never coming back from lunch.
So that was a nice time.
I felt like Elvis, it felt pretty good.
Yeah, right.
It is a fun thing, right? You turned 75 last month. Happy birthday. And I feel like a lot of your life is a celebration. I feel like you really live life the way it's supposed to be lived. But did you do something special for that occasion? Well, actually, I was working on my birthday. This friend of mine, Tom Coyne, wrote a book about golf in Ireland. So he had got me to do this to go over and make a little show about the courses that he visited in Ireland. So on my birthday, I was over there, and all my ancestors are Irish, and so when I go over there, like I say, it feels like I'm at a wake, a lot of people come up and they're related to you. Yeah. No, they just look like my cousins. Yeah, they do. Do they ask for credit cards or no? No, they're not that way. It's really a gracious place. It's really nice. We do have a video that I wanted to ask you about. This is golfing in, and I think Ireland maybe not. Here we go. But nice swing. I think we know where this is going. Oh, good. Oh, and it's out. Get in there. I think this could be the definition of a dog leg. Oh, just nudged his backside, didn't it? Wow, that dog really helped you out. No dog was injured in the plane. The dog was not injured, huh?
Yeah.
No, that was the last hole, but that was the best round of my entire life. I shot my age at the old course at St. Andrews on. Well, congratulations. That's a nice celebration. Bill Murray is here. We'll be right back. I'm so tired. I'm tired of waiting. Tired of waiting for you. So tired. Tired of waiting. Tired of waiting for you. I was a lonely soul. I had nobody till I met you for you. Be waiting all of the time. What can I do? It's your life, and you can do what you want. Know who you like, but please don't keep me waiting. Please don't keep me waiting. I'm so tired. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired waiting for you. I'm so tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm not waiting for you. Everybody.
Wow.
How about that bear? How about that bear? You really know your way around a tambourine. That's for sure. I've gotten good. I've gotten good. Yeah. You've been on the road doing a whole bunch of shows. You with your blood brothers, Bill Murray and his blood brothers. Who are the blood brothers? Well, there's actually a band called the Blood Brothers. That's a punk band from San Francisco. And, so we and Techn and my friends started calling them, and I want to give them credit. They were bleeding first. So, but these guys started calling themselves the Blood Brothers, and so they changed the name just for technicality. But I see, my name's on it to sell t-shirts, I guess.
Yeah.
Have a little water. Enjoy there, yeah, it's fun. So, we've been traveling a little bit. We're playing Napa this week. We're playing Del Mar. Monterey. We're playing Del Mar. Del Mar.
Yeah.
All this week. This weekend. This weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine that that's as much fun as you could possibly fun. Like I played in a band in high school. Was a lot of fun. What was that band called? We were called the Dutch Masters. Oh, another copyright infringement situation. Well, I know you remember the Ernie Kovac show, but I always thought back then it was all about what the drum head looked like what you had on your drum head. So, I thought if we could get a painting of the Dutch Masters look on our drum head, we'd be like big. And did that ever happen? We got the painting done. Maya, yeah. Susie Fox, Peter Fox's little sister, painted it for us.
She did? Yeah.
Oh, who has that? Is that still in existence? That's a good question.
Oh yeah.
That would be a nice memento to have. Why did the band break up, the Dutch Masters? Oh, I think we graduated high school.
Oh yeah.
I've seen you play with Eric Clapton. I've seen you, I know you love John Prime. You've done some stuff with him. You were on stage with MC Hammer in his heyday. That's true.
Yeah.
Did you dance with him? Did you rap with him? What happened there? You had this kind of time. This is a big story. So, we were doing a movie called What About Bob? Down there and MC Hammer was like the biggest thing in the world, and they all looked to me like, Bill, MC Hammer's going to be in Roanoke, which is like, when's the last time someone said that to you? So, I had to come up with we rented a bus, like an old-fashioned, minor league school baseball team bus. We drove 55 miles to Roanoke, and, I had called my agents and said, hey, I want to go see the show. They said, don't worry, just go backstage. So I go backstage, and, a band like MC Hammer, they love to see somebody famous show up at their show. So, I remember these giant guards going, hey, Bill Murray, it's out of sight. And I just say, yeah, they're with me. And it was an entire bus full of people walked in. Well, fortunately, there were some seats there, and it was the end of the month, sort of. And I had no clothes left, and I had worked, and I'd sweed through everything, and I basically was just in a pair of pants. That's it. Like a pair of pants, if you know what I'm saying about. And I see MC Hammer coming over, and he keeps creeping over to where we are on the side of the stage and go oh God, he's coming towards me. I know he was, and so he got me. So I go out and start doing the dance number of that MC Hammer dance, which I happen to know. And he told me once later, you're the only guy that got through it. I had San Francisco 49ers that couldn't get through the whole thing. Anyway, I did one of the moves in the dance, or extrapolated, and made my own move and split my trousers.
Okay.
So I sort of wiggled over to the side of the stage where customer lady happened to have 6 safety pins in her pocket, and while I was just doing this, she went BUP, and I went back out and finished the number. This is why MC Hammer wears such big pants. Well, I did fall in love with that girl. But that's why MC Hammer wears such big pants. Oh, so the best thing is then I go backstage afterwards, and I'd met Hammer before the show where he was lifting weights before the show, and I said, hey, I need some help. He says, what? I said, I need pants. And he looks at me like, huh?
What?
I need some pants. And I have a pair of those MC Hammer pants. Yeah, I have a pair of those.
Nice.
And that's how I roll back to work.
Hey.
Well, notice anything different about me?
Yeah.
You're too legit to quit. That's right. You had joined SNL in the second season and there was, am I dying or something? You're going back in time. I want to mention something kind of new though, because there's a writer named Jim Downey. That's right. Who is a brilliant guy, and they made a documentary about him called Downey Wrote That. And you're part of this documentary. I don't know. He keeps saying I want to shoot you, but they haven't shot me. I'm probably the documentary in that Jim talks about you guys were sharing an office together and you brought a hibachi in and tried to barbecue inside the office at Saturday Night Live. Is that a true story? I was new in the business.
Yeah.
Well, we were such a strange they put us together because we're both from Illinois. Although one of us, didn't really finish school, and the other one went to Harvard. I was not the one that would be. So, but we're now better friends than we ever were, at that time.
Yeah.
'Cause he was always interested in writing, and I was interested in, everything else, messing around, living. Well, it was an exciting time. It was an amazing time, and there were great funny people and the actors were my old friends, and of all New York was an amazing city. Of all the people, still is, I guess, and I have spent time with whatever. Is there somebody that comes to mind when I say who's like the most naturally funny person that you have experienced in your life? Well, I know a painter named Dan Rzzy who's really funny. Really?
Yeah.
Dan Rizzy. Yeah, he's really funny. But I found that non-professionals are usually funnier than professionals, just naturally. So, this has got to be the best night of Dan Rizzy's life right now. Well, he has a beautiful wife. I can't speak for him. But, yeah, he's just a naturally funny guy, but I found that people, anybody, and if everyone can be funny and you just have to relax and realize it's coming from someone, any hell, you could be funny. No.
No.
I only say that 'cause I'm about to say that 'cause I heard you're not funny. Well, Bill Murray and his blood brothers, you can see them live right here in California, all this week. Thursday in Del Mar, Friday in Napa, Saturday in Terry. It is always a delight to have you here. Thank you, Mr. Jimmy Kimmel Show all the time. Mr.